protecting West Tampa. Tonight's presentation is going to focus on the current proposal before City Council related to the Tampa Bay Rays Stadium, a community benefit agreement for Tampa's most strategically vulnerable neighborhood. The current proposal can be the best thing that happened to West Tampa, or it could be the worst thing. Let's dive in. West Tampa, in terms of rank among the neighborhoods that will be impacted by possible and potential displacement, it placed second as the highest displacement risk in Tampa. Although, from a strategic perspective, it is the most vulnerable. Anywhere from 14 to 17% of residents could be displaced if nothing is done to use as a safeguard. That 14 to 17% is up compared to the numbers prior to this particular deal coming into play. And there are three major development engines surrounding West Tampa that play a part in this. West Tampa is unique. It's the only high-risk community located directly between three major redevelopment engines. You have downtown Tampa, Midtown, and now we have the Rays Stadium District. This makes West Tampa the most strategically vulnerable and most important neighborhood to protect. So what's at stake? Well, 1.1 billion plus in public subsidies requested by the Rays. What did history teach us? Well, if we look at the Miami deal, specifically the Miami Marlins Stadium deal, that deal caused massive displacement and political backlash because they didn't have safeguards. Next, large public investment triggers higher land values, investors' speculation, and raising rent. What's the risk to West Ham? West Ham is already experiencing rapid speculation, and the stadium would accelerate it without safeguards. When we look at the history of the black population in West Tampa in terms of displacement, some of the projects that have come into play in order to make the quality of life in West Tampa also has reduced the legacy black community in West Tampa. Those projects include the Central Park, Dobie, and North Boulevard Home, which each project, Central Park and North Boulevard, provide better opportunity for low income and other individuals. See, the problem is that legacy black neighborhoods are shrinking. Cultural displacement is already underway. But what can we do to ensure that displacement impact is reduced? We call it Community Benefit Agreement, or an SBA. An SBA is a legally binding agreement between developers, government partners, and the community that guarantees legal benefits in exchange for public support of a development project. So the SBA gives community real power, not just symbolic input. How does it do this? First, it's legally enforceable. It's negotiated directly with developers. It's backed by government accountability. And it's a community-led oversight and reporting. We know about community benefits agreement as West Tampa was the first community benefit agreement coming out of Tampa as part of the Rome Yard project, or the program that's coming out of that, which is the Technology, Wealth Building, and Job Creation Center. The strongest tool the city has to reduce displacement and ensure West Tampa benefits from redevelopment is the Community Benefit Agreement. We know this because in cities like Los Angeles, Denver, Atlanta, and Chicago prove that you can bring in a stadium and still protect the people, unlike the Miami stadium that we talked about earlier. West Tampa deserves the same protection that communities across America has secured. So we're gonna we're gonna focus on 10 points that can bring about protections by way of the community benefit agreement for West Tampa. These points will go from A to J, and we're going to talk about each one individually. The first protection is down payment assistance, and we'll talk about that later. B is continual funding of the Technology and Wealth Building Center. C, local business opportunity. D, community government voice. E, traffic and infrastructure. F, cultural identity preservation. G, higher wage access. H, public safety funding. I, year-round operating fund. And then finally, J, eviction prevention. With these 10 tools in place, we can change the narrative in West Tampa. And instead of a 14 to 17%, we can reduce it as low as 7 to 9%. Let's start with the first. The first tool is down payment assistance, the single most effective long range anti displacement strategy, moving residents from rentals to owners, permanently stabilizing the community. Well, down payment assistance includes funding programs for first hometown buyers in West Tampa. This should be additional money and not include the current money that the city has set aside for down payment assistance. Second, closing cost support. Reduce financial burdens to homeowners with low and moderate income families that could be affected by this potential development. Next, credit building and coaching. Financial education to prepare residents for home ownership. Rent to own pathways. Guaranteed pathways for long-term residents to purchase their home. Impact. Higher income plus business ownerships equals lower displacement. Now let's go to B and G. Economic empowerment and wealth building. Okay, let's get ready. B, technology, wealth building, and job creation center. We talked earlier that in order to have an impact, you have to have higher incomes plus business ownership equals lower displacement. The technology, wealth building, and job creation does just that. It creates that opportunity for building. It does this by training residents for higher wage jobs, helping residents to start and scale their businesses, support legacy businesses through digital tools, provide AI, tech, and entrepreneurship training, and create pathways for 80 plus emerging businesses, resident owned businesses. The next column is G, access to higher wage jobs. This includes local hiring requirements for all the contracts that's coming out of this project, appreciation and paid training, career pathways, including tech, construction, and healthcare, employer partnership to hire West Tampa residents, and living wage standards for all positions. C and D, business support and community power. C, legal and legacy businesses opportunity. Guarantee contracting opportunity for West Tampa businesses. First right of refusal for commercial spaces. Rent stabilization for legacy businesses. Grants for modernization, equipment, and digital upgrades, and local businesses stay in place and grow instead of being priced out. These dollars should be separate from any dollars currently being given by the city. That's important. Guarantee a community voice. Guarantee a seat for the West Tampa CDC at the table or on the board. Neighborhood leaders at the table. Annual public reporting requirements and real enforcement mechanism. Residents have real power, not just symbolic input. F, H, and J. Cultural, safety, and eviction prevention. Cultural identity prevention. Protection of historic black landmarks. Refunding the cultural program and storytelling. Support for black artists, murals, and cultural space. Preservation for legacy institutions. H. Public safety funding. Community-based program, safety program. Youth violence prevention initiative. Lighting and walkability improvement and neighborhood watch and community patrols. And eviction. And J, eviction prevention. Because rents will be going up. Emergency rental assistance program, separate from that of the city. Eviction protection and legal support. Anti-harassment protection for tenant and the right to return guarantee. The bottom line. West Tampa is at a historic crossroad. Second highest displacement in all of Tampa. Surrounded by three major redevelopment engines simultaneously. The Ray Stadium deal will intensify local speculation without protection. History shows communities like Central Park Village can be wiped out. We're asking the city council to require community benefit agreement as a condition of any public subsidies of the Rays Stadium District with enforcement protection for West Tampa residents, businesses, and cultural. This is an opportunity that could benefit the West Tampa community, legacy residents, or it could wipe them out as long as well as the businesses. But it doesn't have to be. We know from the cities that we quoted that had stadiums and was able to reduce displacement, and the Rome Yard deal to show what a community benefit agreement could do.